Respected मंच पे पधरे स्टेट प्रेसिडेंट कापुन सोगले, संगठन मंत्री अशोकोल जी, स्टेट वाइस प्रेसिडेंट काग्याले, डिस्ट्रिक्ट प्रेसिडेंट खाचू राशिदांग स्टंजिन लकपाले और आज इस हॉल में बारे हुए एग्जीक्यूटिव काउंसिलर्स, स्टेट एग्जीक्यूटिव मेंबर्स, डिस्ट्रिक्ट एग्जीक्यूटिव मेंबर्स, युवा मोर्चा प्रेसिडेंट एंड उनके मेंबर्स, किसान मोर्चा और मेंबर्स, महिला मोर्चा और मेंबर्स, उससे भी इम्पोर्टेंट मंडल से आए हुए सारे लीडर्स और मेंबर्स को जूले कहना चाहूँगा। आज बहुत दिन के बाद हमें यहाँ मिलना हो गया है, लेकिन मैं प्रेसिडेंट स्पीच के इंचार्ज के तौर पर पिछले 2-3 महीने से हम काम कर रहे हैं। यहाँ लद्दाख में ठंड के कारण ये सारा कुछ हो नहीं पाया, और ये जो मैं इंट्रोडक्शन देने जा रहा हूँ प्रेसिडेंट के स्पीच का, वो मंडल तक के लोगों ने सब ने अपना अपना बैठकर सारे मोर्चों ने इसका प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस आपने भी करना है। इसलिए ये इम्पोर्टेंट है। मैं प्रेसिडेंट साहब के स्पीच को एक एक करके पढ़ूंगा, इंट्रोडक्टरी पार्ट को, और आप लोग ध्यान से रखेंगे। इसका कॉपी भी मिलेगा और उसके बाद आप लोग भी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करेंगे। मैंने एमपी साहब, सीईसी साहब और प्रेसिडेंट साहब को बताया है कि इस पे सारे लोग प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करना है। हमें यह जानना होगा, ये अमृत काल यानी प्रेसिडेंट का पहला भाषण लोकसभा और राज्यसभा को प्रेसिडेंट द्रौपदी मुर्मू जी ने जो दिए थे, वो आने वाले 25 साल के लिए। अमृत काल का मतलब है भारत को आज़ाद मिलने के बाद 100 साल होने का 25 साल में हम क्या विजन लेकर जा रहे हैं, उस पे निर्भर है। तो ये प्रोस्पेक्टस एक विजन डॉक्यूमेंट सा है। इस विजन डॉक्यूमेंट को लेकर भारतीय जनता पार्टी के सारे कार्यकर्ताओं को बूथ लेवल तक, एक एक घर तक इस मैसेज को पहुंचाने की ज़रूरत है। तो मैं कोशिश ये करूंगा कि मैं इसको पढ़कर सारे मंडल प्रेसिडेंट को समझ में आ जाए, इसलिए लद्दाखी में इसको ट्रांसलेट करने की कोशिश करूंगा, ताकि आप लोगों को इस पे प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करने के लिए आप लोगों को दिक्कत ना आए। तो पहले तो मैं स्वागत करता हूं, आप सब लोग सीजन के बिगिनिंग पे यहाँ आए। अशोक जी भी आज हमारे साथ बैठे हैं। तो इसका रिपोर्टिंग पूरा दिल्ली तक हमें भेजना है आप लोगों को बहुत ही जल्दी। इनका रिपोर्टिंग भी जो जिस तरह से डिस्ट्रिक्ट पे हमने कमेटी फॉर्म किए हैं और डिस्ट्रिक्ट को मंडल के कमेटी फॉर्म करने को बताया है, उस वो भी काफ़ी किए हैं, लेकिन उस पर सारे लोग ने प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस या ये प्रेसिडेंट के स्पीच को गाँव तक पहुंचाने में थोड़ा दिक्कत रहे होंगे। लेकिन ये समझे कि ये हमारे लिए बहुत सीरियस काम है। आने वाले 25 साल के लिए, आने वाले 25 साल में भारत कहाँ तक ले जाना है, ये हमारे गवर्नमेंट का जो विजन है। प्रेसिडेंट साहब ने जो स्पीच दिए थे, वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार के विजन को क्लियर करता है, डिक्लेयर करता है। इसलिए आप लोग तो ज़रा गौर से सुनिएगा, ताकि आप लोगों को भी आसान पड़ जाए। मैं यहाँ से इंग्लिश में पढ़ूंगा और लद्दाखी में ट्रांसलेट करने की कोशिश करूंगा। मेरा 5-10 मिनट हो जाएगा, प्लीज़। प्रेसिडेंट साहब बताते हैं, इट गिव्स मी ग्रेट प्लेजर टू एड्रेस both the houses of parliament assembled together a few months back. Our country completed 75 years of independence and entered the Amrit Kal. This Azadi Ka Amrit Kal assimilates the pride of thousands of years of our glorious past, the aspirations of Indian freedom struggle and Indian resolve for a golden future. I long issue Lord Dunchu Tonga Gagala Rawang Top Sestina. Then this speech mga tawche la thok sa nata Lok Sabha na Rajya Sabha niske na nga kame na nga butkani logo ni cham check mi uni struggle chose tebe score lang juche na nyampo tebe ngam sources na nyampo mouse pe long issues sa na nga jagar garu gel la chache jin tebe score la dringe juche jin molte president sabi mode. The Amrit Kal of 25 years is the period of the golden century of independence and the making of a developed India. This 25-year span is for all of us and for every citizen of the country to perform our duties to the utmost level. An opportunity to build an era beckons us for which we need to work continuously with our full potential. Wajib सरकारी प्रेसिडेंट या गवर्नमेंट ता लासो I yung sasari long issue tanga be na last gangches zaches you each chikpeman bangata citizen thangme Gagala Juxani Mimang really drink cup process of Kabejaste, Nata Gagarbo, Jixtani na Chambasa developed country churches la, Nata Same, Charlas Garshan that goes look on. By 2047, we have to build a nation which not only embraces the glorious past but also encompasses every golden respect of our modernity. Butkani chamche takpoyot ngamshan chosteo tyo 2047 ina sentalis ina nam ngata lor gyacha trawa those tene gyagarbo tus some na chi sangma mathanga jik medala butkani glorious samata siva chochesi tushi dodin molduk. We have to build a Bharat which is self-reliant and also able to fulfill its humanitarian obligations. Ngata jagarpo rango rangthon chanchiki yul chochas nang yampo tene ngata humanitarian obligations samchot mimang sika mi samchul sameka samche gopskorote sama metkani yul jigata choches la ngata galashin. We have to build a Bharat which has no poverty and where the middle class is also prosperous. Agarip tamma na nyalba chantamma metkan churches pohata ilo nishu sangame na churches nyampo middle class sangma tesang chuga sose tene yang sangma rock churches la takpo churches pohati daksa vision e maksad cheshoks pano. A Bharat whose youth and women power will be at the forefront to give direction to the society and the nation and whose youth are well ahead of time. Yongche saniti naga pomomuntang kyoktongun naga ma shektan na sukshen chojezin kaguni tene ngata gyagarbo gelna kerchesina konguni direction daste konguni ngata lamstane kerchesi kyoktongun na pomomun chojezin. A Bharat whose diversity is even more vivid and whose unity becomes even more unshakable. Daksa ngata na politics se bimang pe suna su thuk success sperata no Muslim nang Hindu zara chok mga tayo chosmang nang tene ngata rich nang tes perata no tes sama pat metkan chose sangma chikdil stanpo chose ngata gella khecha si gaga chose zinmo gale. When the country actualizes the reality in 2047, it will certainly observe and assess the foundation of its grand construction. At the time, this initial movement of the Azadi Ka Amrit Kal will be viewed with a different perspective. Therefore, this period of Amrit Kal has become all the more significant. Nam ngata ilong isu sanga budin 2047 ina tene ngata mi uni sambata tana I jagare na ngaje iwa smelting spin I yulbo choche la ngaje smelting sete yul na mas tazo so segna ma khachan tusik di long isu sanga indo. President Sabi Mola Jatuk, when the people of the country gave my government the opportunity to serve them for the first time, we began with mantra of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. With the passage of time, Sabka Vikas and Sabka prayers were also added into it. The mantra has now become the inspiration for building a developed India. In a few months, my government will complete 9 years on this Kartavya path of development. Ngata sarkar goma yong sana mantra chichik na bin Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas mote. Yong tu sikagata hai teo teka snan te tene sabka vishwas sabka prayas sangata justen min tenda mantra ve jaste jagar mi sangma ngamshan nang yambo I government bo sangme pia last year zakan bo ta jurte yokan bo tanpo jo simi sangmana thotgos. In almost 9 years of my government's term, the people of India have witnessed many positive changes for the first time. The biggest changes is that today every Indian's confidence is at peak and the world's outlook towards India has changed. I butkani lor gue naga ngatai government chakla jatkan benaga jurja cheshok spoteo yos dirin jagar patsangma ma ngamshan nang poso chanchwar kin chazana chidyal mola chatana I jagar pangun tikmen mane sangkan thopa tainyo kanbo dirin mi un jagar na yos tenok jeste jagar paim jeste ma ngamshan sorchas na nyampo tene ngatai Pilongan mi unis ngata asta tana tene uhu modi mi nok jeste siva chochesi tusik lepse yot bogi. India, which once looked at others for solutions to most of its problems, is today emerging as provider of solutions for the issues faced by the world. Ngalla jagana cheese kala sanang America churches, Russia churches, Chirgali Yuli gastenches, Gozuk Twatpin, drinks jagar Jixten la suas kala jona jagar kana solution salala yochesi tushik lepseno. I Gurjabo Modi Sabi Kongsteno Polkan. In these years, basic facilities have been made available to a large segment of the population who would waited for these decades. Lo chukak mama po lo tukchu dunchu garib nyalba chan mula ngaja yu thop sipiang au madik bazar kan bo gangma drink chibo chama nyalba chan mula thop sarpe. In these years, basic facilities, especially drinking water, toilets, ration, subo chama ta dan te thep te. The modern infrastructure that we long aspired for has started coming up in the country in these years. Ma gyala hospital, gyala college, gyala universities, hoset jete ngata ngala samatin tebe gangma infrastructure dube nioteno ma ngata thotona chungula yontan nang yang la sit sama thopche jeno. The digital network that India has built is a source of inspiration even for developed countries. Daksha digitally movement, digital revolution chamsi Modi Sahib because tebe paste. Tere yarges choche sinanga, corruption mekkan choche sinanga, taphan thok si thok, philo ga unis jagare digital system bo gazuk takpo duk zachi stotpa phule chi yoteno. In the long-felt urge to rid of the encourage of mega scams and corruption in government scheme is now being realized. Corruption metkan choches, scam sangma metkan choches ina some chege skuse some chege scam chosto teu gangma takriban jela shen yoteno mamang po so yoteno te sangma jagar po sangma choches chagla chichigino. Today the debate is no longer about policy paralysis. Instead, India is being recognized for rapid development and the far-sightedness of the decisions. Ngalla policy paralyzed. Scheme policy young stock, young north stock, young du Gurja Chongo Sozerkan Esperata, Dring Yagari Kalata, Modi Sapto leadership in Anga, Pura decisive Yochal Dangabo, decision Sangma Masation policy Sangma, Ma Gaspa 20 Yoteno, Tebo Sangmata two like goes. That is why we have now become the fifth largest economy in the world, up from the 10th spot. Ngalangatang economy na 10 tikat pindringatang 50 kalapseno. Sangma tusukas bab senyo na ngatang trako senyo teno kata economy. This is the foundation which elevates the self-confidence for building a developed Bharat in the next 25 years. Yung just any long issue sangena ngatang trako chendena gazuwa chen. Cheese station. Gagar po jikten gamena trako gazuwa chendena ispera chakega chen. President Sabi Molduk, Lord Bhaveshwara had said, Karya Karva Kailasha, which means karma is worship and Shiva is in the karma itself. Following the path, my government is actively engaged in the performing the duty of nation building. Wata government ma sense dangpo nangyambo nation building na chakla jate nyo te saba lo nishu sangena ngata sangme sangwa bingche jeno. Especially today India has a government which is stable, fearless, decisive and working with lofty ambitions. Today, India has a government working for permanent solutions of the problems of the poor and their lasting empowerment. Today, India has a government working at an unprecedented speed and scale. Today, India has a government that gives preeminence to public welfare by leveraging innovations and technology. Today, India has a government which is committed to removing every obstacle being faced by the women. Today, there is a government in India which is committed to progress as well as the protection of nature. Today, India has a government that preserves heritage while embracing modernity. Today, India has a government which is moving forward confidently to play its rightful role on the global stages. President says, today, through this session, I express my gratitude to the people of country for electing a stable government for 2 consecutive terms. My decisive government has always kept the country interest paramount and shown the willpower to completely transform the policies and strategies. When required, from surgical strike to firm crackdown on terrorism, from a befitting response to every misadventures from LOC to LSC, from abrogation of Article 370 to Triple Talaq, my government has been recognized as a decisive government. The stable and decisive government has enabled us to deal with the biggest calamity in 100 years and the situation that arose thereafter. Whenever in the world there is a political instability, these countries are beset with severe crisis today. but India is in a much better position than the rest of the world due to the decision taken by my government in the national interest. President says, my government is of the firm opinion that corruption is the biggest enemy of democracy and social justice. Therefore, there has been a relentless fight against the corruption in the last few years. We have assured that the honest will be honored in the system. There is increasing social consciousness in the country that there should be no sympathy for the corrupt in the society. In the last few years, the Benami Property Act was notified with a view to create a corruption-free ecosystem. The Fugitive Economic Offenders Act was passed to confiscate the properties of criminals who absconded after committing economic offenses. An effective system has also been put in place to end the practice of favoritism and corruption in the government machinery. Today, there is a government marketplace GEM system for tenders and government procurement in which transactions worth more than rupees 3 lakh crore have taken place so far. Today's special honor is being bestowed upon those making an honest contribution in nation building. Life of our countrymen has been made easier by doing away with the complexities of filing income tax returns. Promotion of faceless assessment has brought about transparency and accountability in the ecosystem. Earlier, there was a long wait for tax refund. Today, refunds are received within a few days of filing ITR. Today, the GST regime has provided transparency along with ensuring the dignity of taxpayers. From Jan Dhan Aadhaar Mobile Trinity, which is weeding out fake beneficiaries, to launching One Nation, One Ration Card, we have undertaken major enduring returns. Over the years, the country has developed a stable and transparent regime in the form of DBT and Digital India. Today, the monetary benefits of more than 300 schemes are directly reaching the bank accounts of the beneficiaries. So far, an amount of more than rupees 27 lakh crore has reached crores of beneficiaries with complete transparency. The World Bank report acknowledged that it was only due to such schemes and mechanisms that India was able to prevent crores of people from falling below the poverty line during the COVID pandemic. Every taxpayer feels proud when corruption is reined in and every penny of tax is put to good use. Honorable President says today, an honest taxpayer of the country wants the government to desist from the politics of shortcuts. He wants plans that encourage permanent solutions to problems and empower the common people. Therefore, my government has laid emphasis on the long-lasting empowerment of the countrymen while dealing with the current challenges. Poverty eradication is no longer just a slogan. Now my government is working towards empowering the poor by providing a permanent redressal to the concurrence. For instance, a major cause of poverty is illness. A serious ailment completely shatters the moral of a poor family, leaving generations in debt. Today, free the poor from the worry, a nationwide Ayushman Bharat Yojana was launched. For the scheme, more than 50 crore countrymen have been provided the facilities of the treatment. The Ayushman Bharat Yojana has saved crores of people poor from becoming poorer, preventing them from spending rupees 80,000 crores. Today, medicines are being made across the country. Rupees 20,000 crore of the poor have Ayushman Bharat and Jan Aushadhi schemes alone, the country have got assistance with worth rupees 1 lakh crore. So ba yung gospelate justin juiga zgurmas gura lamas gustes khakchan je amera ina spera samay jaste ngatanai cibo sangma ina juga chenino dring natai dring na daksa molkan na tus mari mo met mol duk te mane ladak sinanga mi cham siga I ayushman na schemes goni faida letkan bo to mare lagatai I sangma talik jo sengata ngai mandal sukma bi sangma husar jaches I scheme sangma ngot hotte sile jaches tene ngata ngai chuso chuche na sang sang na ngatai scheme gala chokan ngon jaches ngata serpok ma mol duk ngalte molano agoni yu chorupa a party panga chorupa teves kon danupa te sangma jawab yote
hotel
te sangma ngata tus ika ti sangma jaches espera ika jate neno daruma ngai juwa function president sahab na district president gulla ngata manga active choste grassroots level sangma ngata schemes demo sangma council schemes yoto mp zatkan schemes yoto I choste dubste yotkan mo gangma blueprint ngata things te mimang sena left chugadna shat ngati party Shetan chatela zgakan so yo ches manok samse jwa pulchezi sangmala nga nyancheza thusese Bharat Mata ki jai Bharat Mata ki jai Bharatiya Janata Party zindabad Bharatiya Janata Party zindabad thusese jule बहुत बहुत